So I'm going to talk about domestic violence and all the bullcrap lies, a little bit about defending against domestic violence protection orders. The best thing that you could do besides scheduling an appointment with me is to go to my store on Instagram. You click the link in the bio, like the third category of items in my flow page is my store. I have a video on my store that explains it in case you need some insight. The packets and information and stuff in there, the best thing in there is the evidence rules video. I need to do more videos, but the defense against restraining order packet has a laid out argument that's worked for hundreds and hundreds of dads. I can't even count how many dads that said they got that packet or they used it, before I even made this online store going back a decade. It's arguments that I've compiled over 20 years. I started putting it together in a packet, about maybe closer to 12 years ago. Anyway, check that out. I was inspired to talk about this because some total idiot lady, which is in my next video after this, I posted her stuff before, but on the page, I love this dude's page. I am Mr. Let Go. I disagree with him on some things, but that's okay. And I'm sure he would think that's okay. But, he gets on there and he bashes single motherhood where mothers keep getting with crazy losers and they turn around and say these guys are losers and they have kids out of wedlock, and he's all for waiting till you get married to have kids. What a novel concept. Anyway, he posts, I am Mr. Let Go, posted a video by Umar Johnson saying that, women have been holding it down and stuff. I didn't watch the whole video. It's crap from the beginning, obviously. But this lady, the C and Piskian, I don't know if I said that right. This lady comes on. Let me just tear this apart from her statement. Listen, according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, more than 40% of black women have experienced, it's a page that predominantly reads out to black people. But the principles here are go across the board. She says, according to that National Coalition on Against Domestic Violence, more than 40% of black women have experienced intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner sexual violence, intimate partner stalking. Where the hell are they getting that from, first of all? See, this is when some numbnuts, brainless, airheaded weirdos just look at a statistic and they know nothing about anything. Now, she's a total hypocrite if she thinks, which has been well established, that the criminal justice system disproportionately incarcerates people of color. It has also an element of poverty that has to do with it because you could get whatever justice you can buy. And the public defenders are in on the scam. Back in slavery days, right after slaves were emancipated, they started creating a whole bunch of laws because you can enslave somebody in prison. So they would just turn them around, put them right back on the plantation. So if she doesn't know that, then she's really stupid. But if she knows that, and then she's coming on here saying, well, statistics say this and that, then she's a total hypocrite. And this happens with women of color all the time. They'll say one thing for the criminal justice system, but then they'll just believe anything their gender says. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, she's citing them. What do they have in there? That's a poll, because it says all these women have experienced this stuff. It doesn't talk about criminal convictions. It doesn't talk about actual restraining orders. But we know, what do they get this from? Solely from a poll? If it's solely from a poll, then people lie in polls all the time about stuff like this. Oh yeah, he slammed the phone one time, so I was scared of him. Domestic violence, check the box. See, when you have some vague, stupid bull crap like this, you can say whatever you want. The National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, getting statistics from these radical feminists who promote everything that even sounds like it remotely can possibly be something that may lead to domestic violence, that goes in their statistics. Because they're a bunch of tree-hugging, cat lady, hairy leg, stinky smokers who couldn't get a man, who got molested or raped when they were younger, so they're out to get vengeance on all men. So any woman who cries wolf is a victim. To get statistics like them is to go to the Ku Klux Klan and get statistics on whether, white people are more obedient or better citizens or something like that. It's asinine. Now, Joe Biden's 1994 Violence Against Women Act has given billions of dollars to women groups, women's shelters, women promoters of Save a Woman from Domestic Violence. I had a class, criminal justice class, when I went back to school. A lady from a domestic violence advocacy group was speaking. She said it's hard to get a protection order. It's easy as turning your faucet on. They hand those things out like water. She's lying. And then I told her about how common it was. She said, yeah, well, it's real hard to get that. That's bull crap, and we all know it. People go up and lie, and then some airhead like this chick just goes ahead and lies. If you want to see her quote, go back to the next one. But I'm reading it to you now. So the Violence Against Women Act gives money to all these groups, and the judges go to seminars, and at the seminars, judges have been quoted saying, kick the guy out, who cares about his constitutional rights? It's like, so long, buddy, see ya, ha ha ha. That happens at judicial seminars. The guy gets crapped on because he's a second-class parent, and we don't care about his rights, just in case. Now, domestic violence is a crime. You can get a restraining order in front of one judge instead of a jury of your peers. It's quasi-criminal, meaning it's almost criminal, because if you violate the protection order, then you go to jail, and now you got a crime. But was there a jury of your peers when you went to get when the mother went to get a restraining order, the woman went to get a restraining order? Was there a jury of peers giving them full due process to confront and question the witness? If you're accused of rape, you get a criminal case, and you get to defend yourself and cross-examine the witnesses against you. In a domestic violence case, you get deprived of life, liberty, and property. You can't go wherever you want. You get kicked out of your home. And liberty, just freedom to raise your kids and be a human being. You get deprived of all that with a civil restraining order that was obtained by talking to one judge in a 5-minute hearing instead of a full-blown trial with a defense attorney. So the restraining order system is full of crap. There's billions of dollars that go to one side. The Violence Against Women Act reads in it, the intent of this is to protect women and children. And billions of dollars go to only those groups. How come there's only like 2 male shelters in the country if we don't care, if domestic violence isn't gender specific? So as far as her quoting these statistics, she's full of crap because she doesn't cite anything except generally what this group generally says. And it sounds like it's just polls. And it's well established that women lie about domestic violence all the freaking time. And half the women out there are delusional victims because women are emotional. I felt this way, so I feel it's domestic violence. And domestic violence, if you go to my link in my bio, if any of you guys have watched my videos and you haven't gone to the link in my bio, you're a lazy, shiftless bum who doesn't give a damn about your kids, because there's so much free stuff in there, you don't even have to have an appointment with me. If you study it diligently, you'll have way more information than your attorney has ever told you to defend yourself. But my gender is such a bunch of lazy bums. We got guys in the comments crying, oh, I lost this, or the system sucks, or you can't do that, or James has bad advice because this happened to me. You didn't fight the right way, stupid, and you still haven't got any information from me. Or people get on there and complain, I had this hearing and I got screwed, or this happened and I got screwed. Why are you on my page complaining that you lost when I'm a winner and I know winning answers and you don't want to get a console to win? It's asinine. But 90% of people are going to be dumb, brainless, zombie sheep and just walk through my page and get entertained and never get any help. That's crazy. I got no help for the most part, and I got full custody of my daughter age 7 months. Unless you're going to do everything that I did, you probably should get an appointment. But if you don't know what I did, you probably should get an appointment. Anyway, I'll do another video on that little rant. So, and then this lady goes on to say how black women are the majority of master's degrees, doctoral degrees and stuff. I guess compared to black men. But men do functional jobs. They don't go to college and get a basket weaving degree or a social work degree. Men are going out and getting jobs being mechanics at Jiffy Lube. They don't need to go to college for that. They're working construction. They're building the world that you prima donna, arrogant little prick ladies like this stuck-up chick. She's looking at the end result. How many of those women got a scholarship or got extra help getting into it. There's so many scholarships for mothers, single mothers, women of color, and all this stuff. How many scholarships are out there for men in general? See, when you don't look at the whole background and you're just throwing stats out there, you can throw out stats that don't mean jack squat. You can have a group that just writes an article and say, here's some statistics, and some brainless airhead right here who can't read except for the headline. That's all she's doing is quoting headlines. Now, so there's countless lawyers, judges, investigators, entire bar associations who've written articles about how women lie about domestic violence protection orders all the time in family court. So she's counting domestic violence restraining orders. 90% of those are bogus and false. Think about it. If you're worried about your man beating the snot out of you, if you go get a protection order, that piece of paper is going to protect you from a really violent guy who's willing to risk 10 years in prison for assault? My point is, the women go and get protection orders against good guys because they know they're not going to beat the snot out of them. Women who are really afraid of their man don't go to court and get protection orders because they're scared they'll get the snot beat out of them for doing it. The whole protection order system is a scam. It's not brought, there's no due process like in criminal court, and then you can just go in there and cry a river, and 99% of the judges say, well, let me grant this just in case it's true. This lady must not have heard of the Duke Lacrosse case, where this female stripper, there's a black woman and these prima donna, bougie, white Duke Lacrosse players. They had a stripper there. They're dumbasses for athletes for even engaging in something stupid like that, because you got to keep your nose clean, period, when you're a student athlete, and have a high standard, just like attorneys are supposed to, but they don't. So the Duke Lacrosse case, they hired this stripper, and then she left saying that they raped her, and then later on, she had to admit that she lied and she had mental issues. Women do that stuff all the time. Let's not even discuss who's leading in business and entrepreneur. So she jumps from all this stuff, and Dr. Umar was sitting there saying women have been holding it down. Women push men out of the house. They chase government cheese, welfare, Section 8, child support, alimony. And this stupid airhead is sitting here talking about how powerful and smart women are. If you're so smart, strong, and independent, how come most of the single moms are on some kind of welfare? Child support is a form of welfare. The government is ordering a guy to transfer money to her that there's no accountability for. But she has an obligation to child support to the child, but they never check that. They get alimony. They get the house. They don't have to lift a finger. And then all of a sudden they're super educated because they go back to school after a divorce and they have this scholarship money or all this easy money. See, this lady knows nothing about context. This is a pretext because she doesn't get the full context. But she probably doesn't understand that because she's too much of an airhead to read a full context, or she wouldn't be citing the pretext without context. See, people get on here, they think they sound so smart because they throw stuff out. I'll throw some statistics out here. Dr. Martin Fibert, who was a professor at Cal State University, I think it was Northridge. He's been a professor, hopped around, all this other stuff. He has a bibliography online. If you guys look at it, it's in my Defending Against Domestic Violence Protection Order case. He's seen hundreds and hundreds of studies and polls together. This lady is talking about one study or one poll. This guy compiled 283 studies and polls, I think it was, and 50% of women commit domestic violence. That's not counting all the underreported stuff. I see underreported stuff all the time. The guys are embarrassed to report. They don't want the mother to get in trouble. The mother plays victim, and they play whipped simp, henpecked little simp, and then they don't report her. And then she ends up turning around and getting him thrown in jail, and he didn't do anything. So women commit domestic violence. They commit 60% of child abuse. And this prima donna, psychotic, self-righteous, condescending witch, the Cian Piscian, or Piscian, I don't know how to pronounce that. She's sitting there throwing all these stats out. Fibert had those stats, and it's probably closer to 60 or 70%. Think about it. Now, the average dude thinks that men are punks for beating on a woman. 1% of society is criminal. There's only 1% of society in prison. So it could generally be said, a bunch of them are innocent. But it could generally be said that it's a low amount of people who commit violence. But she's going off all this bull crap, one study to say all this definitive stuff, and there's hundreds of other studies and hundreds of other people who have said, judges and lawyers and stuff, have said that it's bull crap most of the time.